question, the member for Cambridge.
Speaker, good morning. My question is for the Premier. A couple of days ago, the Financial Accountability Office released a report on this government's economic and budget outlook from the spring. The report stated that even though the government claimed in its budget that it would be balancing the books by 2030, they are unlikely to do so. The report claims that even in 2030, Ontario will be $17.8 billion short of a balanced budget as a result of permanent spending that was created by this government. Ouch. Does the government have any plan to balance the budget, ever?
The Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Finance and member for Willowdale.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and I appreciate that question from the member opposite. It is very important to take the finances here in Ontario seriously and have a path to balance. And I want to start by thanking the Financial Accountability Office for their hard work. Speaker, there's two important points here. The first one is to note that both the 2021 budget and the FAO's report take a very long-term view to 2029 and 2030. There is great variability and risk in that long-term fiscal planning. And the 2021 budget recognizes this. And I'm going to quote the FAO, who said, the 2021 budget has significant prudence in planned contingency funds combined with the reserve to keep program spending in line with the demand for services over the medium term. Speaker, the second point I want to make is that this government has made a commitment to be transparent with the people of this province. We have not missed a single financial reporting period, unlike the past Liberal government, who missed 8 of their last 14 reporting periods. We're going to continue, Speaker, to head towards balance and be transparent with the people we serve.
And the supplementary question.
It sounds like there is no plan to balance the budget. Speaker, it wasn't only the Financial Accountability Office who had concerns with this government's budget. Earlier this week, the Fraser Institute released an analysis of this government's most recent budget, whereby even excluding the government's spending on COVID-related measures, the report concluded, 1, despite criticisms of past governments, the Ford government has generally continued the fiscal policies of the McGuinty and Wynne governments with respect to spending and debt. And 2, when it comes to spending, deficits and debt, the evidence clearly shows there's been no significant policy shift accompanying the change in government in Ontario. Is the Premier proud that he has finally achieved his goal of his government and party becoming an extension of the Liberal governments of the preceding 15 years?
Parliamentary Assistant, member for Willowdale.
Thank you, Speaker. And I remember when the member opposite sat next to me on this side of the House that we talked about the importance of fiscal transparency. And I'll remind the member that in our first 2 years in this government, we cut the Liberal deficit in half in a very short amount of time, Speaker, through prudence in spending. But then, of course, COVID-19 hit us. And the right time to spend, Speaker, is when the people you serve are in harm's way. So I will not apologize for making sure we protect the health and safety of the people of this province, Speaker. We will return to balance. We will be transparent with the people of this province, unlike the last Liberal government who seemed to be offended by that very comment of transparency. Speaker, we are returning to balance. We will communicate with the people of this province every single step of the way.
Member for